production being done in North Carolina this spring is going to be the first production that all of the vision that the original creators had for Oklahoma will be precisely the way it was performed on Broadway.
I said, I think here's the thing that will push it over the edge. Let's restore the original one.
Which meant reconstructing the original sets, costumes, and the original score.
Now came the next question. How could we restore these sets and costumes? Where did they exist?
The research gets trickier and trickier as the years go by, and there are fewer and fewer people we can actually go to.
Because through the years, when shows are done a lot, what happens is they get little changes are made.
Miles White, on the other hand, the costume designer, a lot of his designs were kept in a warehouse that burned down, which made things very difficult.
Although they may be taking a photograph of a certain scene, that doesn't mean that those are the costumes that were worn in that scene.
The problem with a lot of the production photos is the actors are in the way of the scenery. You have to look at probably 3 or 4 photographs to get all the little teeny slices in between.
The orchestration was recopied beautifully in the early 1960s. But we can see in these beautifully copied parts all these inconsistencies, and wrong notes in the scores continue because the player knows it's a wrong note and just plays it the right way.
Replicating the original production of Oklahoma became quite a project.
The research was invaluable, and it comes from multiple sources.
So we asked Chris Schilder, who graduated from our school a few years ago, to do some research and to be an assistant on this.
I started hopping from person to person to person, basically trying to hunt down the descendants of Lemuel Ayres and Miles White. Lemuel Ayres being the set designer, Miles White being the costume designer.
Chris Schilder went to the New York Public Library, Lincoln Center Library, the Tobin's collection in Texas, the Yale School of Drama's collection. So all of those gave us little pieces.
There's a complicated system of how you go about seeing things that are withheld in a museum. You have to get special permission. You meet with the curator in a designated room, and I was able to look through the swatch pad and take pictures page by page.
And in Bruce Pomahack, we have at the Rodgers and Hammerstein office here a musician who has been single-handedly doing a complete restoration of the score.
For this restoration to be complete, we need the performance. John Mauceri is going to have to come in and lay down the downbeat and listen and shape the way he does. Luckily, he's one of the best in the world.
Someone like Jemsey, for example, has total memory of all of it, and what Oscar said about why this line should be said that way, why Reuben Mamoulian wanted it like this.
I had met Agnes de Mille at Ballet Arts School in Carnegie Hall. I thought, now that's someone I could work with.
The fact that we have somebody who worked with her for almost 50 years who understands all of it, and to pass that on to students.
I did Laurie and the Ballet in Chicago and went to London with the company. I know if there's a wrong note, I know if there's a wrong word, and I know the staging.
So after a while, it became clear that we could actually replicate this. We had enough information.
The hope is to present something that's going to feel a lot wholer than it may have felt for a long time.
I hope a modern audience will see the sparks of the original intention.
Mary Rodgers is excited about bringing her granddaughters, who may never have seen Oklahoma, to the production at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts so that they can start their education on Oklahoma the way she started hers.
What will happen, I believe, is that these students will be 1 degree of separation away from the source of the very thing that they're hoping to go into. If you take an 18-year-old who works on Oklahoma now, who's being taught by an 85-year-old, when that 18-year-old is 85, people will say, you mean you worked with someone who was in the original Oklahoma? So what's happening is that there's this kind of ecstatic communication that transcends a century.